Hey, it's Lori. I have a health update for you today from my most recent blood work, which was a full hormone panel and a thyroid workup. Maybe it's weird that I'm showing you a view of my drive instead of showing myself like I usually do, but I don't know. I just thought I'd do something a little different today. But I'll be showing myself shortly once I start getting into the nitty gritty. Like I said, it was about 3 weeks ago. I had blood work for a full hormone panel, and he also wanted to take a look at my thyroid numbers as well. So it took a little longer than usual to get the results back for that type of test. So here we are 3 weeks later, and I had a tele appointment with my doctor. And for most of the call, we had a bad connection. My next appointment's going to be in about 6 weeks, and it'll be in person. So we won't have that issue. So I won't be posting the entire conversation this time for a couple of reasons. One is because it's about 25 minutes long, and two is because parts of it got a little more personal than I'm comfortable posting online for the entire World Wide Web to hear. Because, this has to do with hormones and menopause, so, But that being said, if I do leave you with any questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section, and if it seems too personal, I'll tell you, but I'll also tell you how to private message me, and we'll go from there. And I'm not saying, oh, I know it all, so I can answer all of your questions. No, not at all. But if you happen to be going through the same season in life, maybe you're going through some things, and maybe I could say, hey, that must be normal because the same things are happening to me, But anyway, I will be putting in some of the snippets of our conversation for you to hear some of the things straight from my doctor. And I'll tell you this much now. I will be going on some meds. One of them comes from a compound pharmacy, which, by the way, is right across the road from Costco. Not that that has anything to do with any of this. Oh my gosh. So anyway, he said that it isn't just a pharmacy. He said it's more like a really nice shop with a great vibe. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it now since he talked about it. But the pharmacists are really friendly and caring and always willing to give you their time. In fact, he said there's one that's a woman named Stephanie, and you can book an appointment with her, which is pay out of pocket, but that's beside the point. But you can schedule a one-on-one appointment with her and meet in a really nice, comfortable room and discuss whatever you want to know about. She's a specialist in menopause, and she knows about like all the symptoms and all the meds and what to expect and just what you're going through. So you get a full hour-long session with her if you so choose. So anyway, but he said he's had patients who've seen her, and that's how he knows how wonderful she is, and that the room is like nice and cozy and all that good stuff. But he said everybody always has just wonderful things to say about her and how she left them feeling so much better about everything. So now I know that it is an option for me if I so choose. I haven't decided yet, but I do know it's an option. So, okay, I'll be right back with that nitty gritty I was talking about. Hey, hi, here I am. Yeah, like I said, I'll be showing my face at some point, and here I am. So I am going to be putting in some snippets, quite a few snippets, really, quite a bit of the conversation with my doctor. I have some notes too. I should open those up because they're on my computer, which is right over here in front of me. So if you see me looking that way, I'm looking at my notes. It's not a script, but I kind of journaled my doctor's conversation that I had with him, I guess. I don't know. I guess you kind of put it that way. But I'll probably print it out and put it in my folder with my medical stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my way of remembering exactly what he said. Okay, hold on. Let me try and find the doggone notes. What'd I do with it? I didn't close it completely, I don't think. It's right there. It's right there.
Good day, everybody. All right.
Oopsie. Well, I accidentally clicked on the video that I was getting ready to watch earlier, so... Oh my goodness, what a mess. I'm a mess. Okay, here's my notes. I don't need any of this. This is all just me. Hold on. But yeah, I cut out quite a bit of that phone conversation with my doctor because, he couldn't, I don't even remember if I said this already, but there was parts of it, I don't even think he heard anything that I said because I was cutting out, which he told me that I was cutting out the entire conversation. He tells me that towards the end of the call, but you'll hear all that. I'll put that in. I know I left that part in because I've already kind of edited out all the stuff that I'm not planning on putting on the World Wide Web. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting over here looking because I'm thinking, I think I want to kind of close out this page with this video, or else I'm probably gonna end up playing it again at some point. Who knows? Okay. I'm just looking now at my editing program, my iMovie, to see. I cut out about 10 minutes of that conversation. So, yeah. I just minimized that window and it just popped right back open. I don't know why. Yeah, so the beginning of our conversation started out with him basically telling me that I'm running on empty. According to my blood work, it's no wonder I'm feeling so flippin' fatigued all the time. I mean, there's times when I have stuff out for dinner and I come home from work and I just don't even feel like doing it. So I just put it back in the fridge and I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe it gets done the next day. It gets done eventually, but you know, there's just times where I am so stinking tired that I just want to do nothing, honestly. But anyway, and you know, I've got a household of 6 here, and the guys have been pitching in. They know how I've been feeling, and they've been pitching in. They've been helping with like putting away the food after supper and helping me clean up the kitchen and making sure to do some of the things that I would normally do that they know I'm too tired to do them, because it's really not like me just to come home and be like, oh, I'm not doing anything tonight. I'm done for the day. You know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm done for the day. That's not really me. So anyway, sometimes I feel bad though, like when I have something out for dinner and maybe they already know, hey, mom's gonna make this or that for dinner tonight, and they'll come out and say, hey, did you make this or that? You know, and I always feel like I let them down when I have to say, no, I didn't actually make anything. You know, but, and I mean, it's not like, what'd you make for dinner, woman? They're not like that. Because, I mean, they'll go and find themselves something, but before they rummage around in the fridge and the freezer and the pantries and everything else, they ask me, did you fix anything tonight? Or, you know, anyway, let's move on. Actually, let's just get right in. Let's just start in on the phone call right now. I'll start putting that in. And while the phone call's playing, I'm probably just going to play my drive in the background to give you something to look at while you're listening. Just in case you're watching, or maybe you're just listening. I don't know. Let's just go.
How are you? What's happening? Anything to report, or you're just kind of waiting to hear what kind of hot mess you are?
No.
Just that we need some fine tuning, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank the Lord, a lot of those numbers look better, you know, with the cholesterol.
So what he's talking about here is some stuff from the previous blood work, from my previous one. And it's like the cholesterol numbers and the triglycerides and all that kind of stuff. So I cut that part out because I actually did already talk about that before in a previous video when I got those results and talked to him about them. I told you all about those then. So I thought, let's just keep it to this current blood work that we're going over with the hormones and the thyroid stuff. So, okay, let's move on.
So ultimately, the latest stuff with the DHEA and the cortisol, and of course more detailed thyroid kind of drill down, you know. It was interesting because it shows, unsurprisingly, that you're running on, you know, full empty when it comes to all the different hormones, you know, that you would normally use for energy. And so, you know, when your progesterone is 0, like, it's hard to get proper rest when you're sleeping. You know, you don't really go into full deep rest. And when your estrogen is, you know, a 40 and not a 400, it's like, okay, what happens then? Well, you know, some women experience that as all kinds of vasomotor hot flashes, and some women just don't. You know, they'll just feel blah, or they'll feel low energy, or, you know, they'll describe it in different ways.
Yeah.
Brain fog and all this other challenges.
So there he's talking a little bit more. There was a little bit more discussion than what you heard about the estrogen, but that was more on a personal level than I was comfortable sharing with everybody, you know, God and everybody. So anyway, if that left you with any questions or even just curiosity, feel free to leave it in the comments below. We'll talk. Okay, let's move on.
Well, now the problem is that your testosterone is 0. So your direct or your free testosterone at 0.6 is basically 0. So if you're at 0 right now, it's not going to come back on its own. You know what I mean? It doesn't just magically come back. It's just one of the factors of menopause that when it's been present for more than 2 to 3 years, then your body is just relying on its own external sources of like the body fat and the rest of the body that's making hormones, and it just doesn't compare to the good old ovaries, which you've long given up, I guess.
Yeah.
So what does all this mean? Well, it means that some women are very gracefully happy to just, do the best they can, and they're aware of the situation, but they're not technically interested in, replacing every hormone that used to be there. And others do the opposite, and they fight tooth and nail to try and fix every little number, to the perfect level of a 30-year-old. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work either. Trust me.
Yeah.
But a little energy wouldn't hurt, right?
Yeah, and I've always been the type to go.
Yeah.
And that's getting really hard to do.
I bet.
So.
Yeah, I bet. It's very difficult because, it's easy to blame some of that on vitamins, like when your vitamin D level is basically 0 and you fix that, you're hoping, the energy comes with it. And it all leads back to your anabolic status or your anabolic hormones. And that's where it all points to, is basically extremely low vitamins or hormones. So, do you replenish them 100%? Do you replenish them 50%, and see how you feel? I usually do the latter. I usually try to put them back into the middle of the normal range, but not push our luck, You don't need periods again and all that kind of stuff,
No, not really. I'd rather not.
Right,
I mean, that's
right.
the only good part about it,
Right, I know, right, yeah. So probably a continuous regimen of the 3 big ones, would be most logical. So maybe low-dose estrogen, low-dose testosterone, and low-dose prometrium or progesterone would be really, really beneficial. But, how you do that, or whether you want to research that a little bit or come in and talk to me about it in person is kind of up to you, or whether you're just like, order it and I'll deal with it when it comes in, and kind of do my own research. It's kind of, everybody has a different sort of level of concern or questions they may have about it, or worries, if that's the right word. 3 weeks into the hormones, like, oh my God, why didn't I do this 5 years ago? Like, why did I put up with all this for all these years?
Yeah.
It is nice to have your brain back and your energy back, and I won't promise you your premenopausal perfect figure back, but but sometimes that happens too. You lose a lot of weight, and it's a nice benefit, So how this works is basically it's multifactorial, meaning if you talk to a GYN, they're going to have a particular opinion on doing everything as pills, and if you talk to a life coach, I don't know what you want to call them, foo-foo kind of hormone clinic, well, they're going to want to put pellets and implant them in your buttock, and there's no need to overcomplicate it. But technically, each of the 3 main hormones do absorb better differently. So this is for cardiovascular protection, for metabolic boost, sleep improvement. So in other words, when you try to jam all 3 hormones in a cream, it doesn't work. When you try to eat them, it doesn't work, and if you try to, put them all into a single patch, that doesn't work either. So you're like, oh, okay, this is getting interesting. And basically what you do is you use bioidentical versions of the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And that means, a couple of them have to be compounded, and the others can be purchased at a regular pharmacy. But the way I feel most of my patients really appreciate this is when they do the estrogen as a patch that you just apply to your belly, somewhere down around your side, or you could even put it on your butt cheek if you want. But that patch would get changed twice per week, and that would give you bioidentical low-dose estrogen. And then you would balance that with a prometrium, which is a progesterone capsule that you take at bedtime. And then the magic is all in the testosterone. So that would be a cream. So that's testosterone. Estrogen is a patch, and prometrium is a capsule. But when all three kick in, and we get them in the right balance, then you feel like 100 times better, because you're basically functioning again. Yeah. And then if necessary, after all of that, we could consider adding in a very, very low dose of thyroid. But I don't think your thyroid is the primary problem, but it might be a cherry on top.
Okay, so the thyroid thing. So there was a time during this conversation where he did talk a little bit more about the thyroid, but I couldn't find it. And I probably could have found it if I would have went back to the original video, but it's like 25 minutes and some odd seconds long. And I'll be honest, I already listened to it like 6 to 8 times, something like that, while I was doing my editing. I just didn't feel like going back to it, but it was probably something that in one of the clips that I cut out. So I'm thinking, well, I'll just tell you what he said. What he said was that my thyroid is slightly underactive. So he said it wasn't anything we need to be super concerned about trying to medicate that immediately, but maybe in the future. So he said, let's just try balancing things out first with the hormone replacement therapy and see if that doesn't balance out the thyroid numbers too when we do the next blood panel, which is, we'll talk about that at my next appointment. It's going to be in like 6 weeks. So, okay, let's go.
Do you want to come in and talk first, or just go for it?
Fine with just going for it. If you think that's okay.
So. I mean, because I'm just going to have the whole conversation with you again, but I would just be,
Yeah, I pretty much.
The board.
I understand what you said.
Yeah, I think it's safe to go for it. And I'm only going to use, like I said, very low doses, but hopefully it's a nice subtle effect, a nice subtle energy, calmness, clarity, deeper sleep, all that. And if you think, oh, I'm fine, but no big whoop, we can try pushing the doses a little bit, tapping into various things. Reasonable time for us to have a face-to-face might be in 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. Sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to clarify this one more time, we'll do the estrogen patch at your pharmacy. The prometrium will also go to Walmart. So 2 of them will go there because I know they have it. The testosterone needs to be compounded just over the bridge by Costco. Is a compounding pharmacy called Booters. They can do anything. Like they can make up any cream, any concentration. So I'll have them make up some testosterone. And if you get there and you're kind of like all weirded out by it, the pharmacist is more than happy to talk to you a little bit more about it. They would not have your insurance information. So you'd probably have to either go there and give them your insurance information.
Okay.
Because if you're just paying cash for compounded hormones, it gets a little bit pricey. Not horrible, but a little bit pricey if you don't go through insurance. So we'll leave it there, and I'll call this in, and then the plan would be for us to touch base again in maybe, let's just say 6 weeks, and we'll talk about how things are going. And then at that encounter, I'll decide whether or not, just basically from talking to you, whether or not we want to adjust any of the 3 dosages. And then we'll set up a follow-up blood test to see like where things look.
Okay.
Right. So so we don't really treat based on the numbers. We just use the numbers to make sure we're like safe, like we're at a safe level. Mostly you want to just treat based on our conversation and different questions I'll ask you about how you're feeling and stuff. Sound good?
Yeah.
That was a big decision to start all this hormone stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. And if you don't like it, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, lots of women start it and then they're like, "This is too much. I don't think it's worth it. I don't get the whole what the big whoop is." And then other women are like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." So I'll talk to you soon. If you get your stuff and it's not what we discussed, or you have any questions, don't hesitate, please, to just call me and clarify some things.
Okay. I did want to ask about that patch, though.
The patch? Say again?
Can you hear me okay? My phone is bad.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out the whole time, but I was mostly just figuring it out. But go ahead.
Sorry. I was just asking about the patch. I keep it on all the time and just change it twice a week?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So the patch, yeah, and when you change it, obviously you just find a new spot. And if you found like a perfect little spot on your right hip, you just stuck it there over and over and over again, you'd eventually get like allergic to it. But if you move it around and left side, right side, butt, abdomen, you're not supposed to put the patch up high. Like for some reason they don't want it like right on your breast tissue. I guess that's just theoretical, like putting the estrogen directly on the breast tissue, I suppose.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really believe that, but you'll read all these warnings. Don't go above the belly button, like you're going to die or something. But it's just,
Okay.
You can stick it on your forehead. I'm sure it would work just fine,
There's a thought.
But if you stick it on your calf or something, people are going to see it. Like, what's that? That they're going to be weirded out by it. So most women put it below the waistline or, you get the idea.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, anywhere at all. You leave it on. Yeah, you leave it on continuously. Yeah. And then maybe, once a week, you could take it off for 24 hours and just reset everything if you really feel like you wanted to. But it shouldn't be a high enough dose where you feel like you have to take a break from it, so to speak. It should be something that you just, you like the feeling. If you feel like your fingers are like puffy, well, then we know you're getting way too much progesterone, like that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's stuff for each of them, but for the most part, these doses I'm going to give you are so beginner, I don't think you'll experience any negative feelings or side effects whatsoever. Booter guys should reach out to you, but keep in mind that they're a compounding pharmacy, so they'll definitely reach out to you, but don't hesitate to reach out to them first, the Booter guys, and you could just give them, like I said, your insurance information, or if you have questions, or it's kind of a cool place to come and visit because they have lots of vitamins and it's all wellness sort of pharmacy. So it's always fun to go in, and they're very friendly. They're usually happy to answer any questions. All right, the last thing I'll tell you about Booter is that they actually provide a more specialized service if you want like a more concierge experience. What that means is you could literally set up an appointment at Booter's and meet with one of their compounding pharmacists. Usually it's Stephanie, and Stephanie will literally like walk you through each hormone, what it does, how it works. It's almost like a little bit much, but it's very useful for some women because they want to really know what they're putting in their body, and tell me about the safety and the cancer stuff, and is that a myth? And they go through all of that with you. They do charge for that. I mean, like it's a sort of like a consultation. They probably charge $50 or $100, for an hour time with the pharmacist. And like I said, you may not feel that's necessary at all, but I just thought I'd throw it out there because sometimes it's nice to just talk woman to woman, with a pharmacist who does this all day long, and she can give you maybe tell you something about this that I don't even know. All right, I promise I'll let you go this time. And,
okay.
Talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, see ya.
And there you have it. So this call was yesterday, and I have 2 prescriptions that I'm going to be picking up at Walmart in a couple of days because I'm going to be right by it. It's not in my town. It's not that far of a drive, but I figured, well, since I'm going to be literally driving right by it anyway in a couple of days, I'll just pick it up then. The compound pharmacy did call me this morning, and just FYI, the private consultation thing it's actually with Suzanne, not Stephanie. He said Stephanie, but it's actually a lady named Suzanne. Not that that makes any difference, but I just wanted to correct that. And it's $98 out of pocket, and the thyroid gel is not covered by insurance. But I never gave him my insurance information, so I'm thinking, well, they probably just got it from the doctor. Well, if I think about it, I never actually gave the doctor my insurance information either. All I had to give him was my husband's name and his workplace because my doctor's provides healthcare exclusively for 3 different companies, and you don't have to pay for anything when you go. It's just whatever comes out of my husband's check every week and it's actually really reasonable. That's all we pay, and the lab's right there for the blood work, so I don't have to pay for any of that. The prescriptions for my blood pressure and my cholesterol meds I get right from there. They have their own small pharmacy there. So, but they don't do the hormone stuff. They don't do any of that there in their pharmacy. You have to go to an outside pharmacy for that. So I just have Walmart pharmacy down for my pharmacy. And so I would have to go there to pick up 2 of them. And then that would be the estrogen patch and the progesterone. What's that called? Let me look. Prometrium, he called it. I don't know, but I have to pick that. The estrogen patch and the prometrium is a pill that will be at Walmart. But the thyroid, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Hopefully it helps somewhere with brain stuff too. But yeah, he said it would. So, let me get it together. The testosterone, I still can't speak. What is going on? The testosterone gel is picked up from the compound pharmacy. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be getting meds from 3 different pharmacies. That just occurred to me. Okay. That's gonna be it, guys. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.